everybody, welcome back to the AS Clem R YouTube channel now. Let me wave up the internet again. Diddly-do. I need to see how many of you are not subscribed that have been watching some of these videos because there's a lot of you that aren't subscribed and you guys need to subscribe to enjoy the content. Let's go, audience. Wow, fair play. Okay. More than that one. What about that one? Audience. Madness. Only 26% of you are not subscribed. Mate, them 26% can... Come on, subscribe. What are you doing, lads? Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Leave a like and comment. But this brings me on to today's video. I get a lot of questions asking me about my work, what I do, stuff like that. Don't really want to go into it too much. However, what I do have is when dealing with a lot of the general public, i.e. customers, you get a lot of funny stories that come out and a lot of incredible things happen that make for great anecdotes. And so, for a change, I thought it'd be good to talk to you about customers and some of the stuff that I understand that if you've worked in retail, you'll understand a lot of this, but a lot of people don't work in retail and don't understand the workers' viewpoint of things, because it's always the customer's always right, they're never right, wind you up. So I thought it'd give a good chance to tell you some of the stuff that sometimes we have to deal with. Not necessarily just deal with, but things that can happen. These are, by the way, the most far-fetched stories. We'll have customers every day that argue with us about certain things, and you just have to go on with it, deal with it. It's part of the job. But there are select times throughout the years where I've worked in retail where stories have come up now. Personally, because I'm knackered, I can only remember 4. So we're going to talk about a few of them in this episode. Obviously, we're not going to name names because at the end of the day, I don't think I'll be able to name names. Which reminds me of one of them, so I'm going to add another one to the list. And then in future, if I remember anything that's happened, or anything does happen, I'll be able to tell a good story. You know, that's all this is. It's me telling a funny story that might either make you laugh, or if you listen to this, fall asleep. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, before I get into it, this isn't taking shots at anyone, this isn't like anything. These are all true events that have happened to me personally, so I feel like I can tell the story. This isn't me going down a route of just shit talking and crap like that. It's me, like I say, just me telling a story. If you want to engage and listen, that's fair play. If you don't. But these are the most far-fetched stories and the most insane things that have happened since I worked in retail. And bearing in mind, I've been working in retail over 6 years now, so that's 6 years worth of time and effort put in to get these stories back, which some of them may be a bit mad. But number 1, picture the scene. I just accepted a job. I turned up to work for my first day. It was my first day at my first job. And I'm, learning the craft, engaging with customers in a polite manner whenever I can. And a young lady comes up and says, "Excuse me." I go, "Yes." "My mum's weed in the back of the shop." Now, how do you respond to that? Because I didn't know. I got the manager, spoke to him, and we explained that obviously if they were happy to clean up said mess, that's fine. If not, we'll clean it up. But at the end, I think, like I say, this was years ago, I think they ended up cleaning it up, which was fair enough. That was very nice of them at the end of the day. Bless the old woman. But that happened, and that was on my first day. That was the most mad story I thought I was ever going to encounter. I thought, it's going to be uphill from here. Anyway, that's the first one. That's a little push in. Number two. These aren't going to last long. Well, a few of them might last long. Okay, so I've been working for. How long have I been working for at this point? Maybe 7 to 8 months, something like that. Going about my day. Everything's nice. Gets to sort of mid-evening. I want to say it was mid-evening. Just sort of winding down for the day. Not a particularly busy day. And a young man comes in. Walks straight up to the till. So I thought immediately, okay, this guy needs something. Needs our help. Wants to speak to me. Either or. That's what I'm here for. And he says, I'm going to describe it as like an Eastern European accent because I don't know where the bloke was from, if I'm being honest. He says something along the lines of, I need to speak to you. And I was like, okay, no worries, yeah. What does he need? Thinking, where are you? I don't know, where's this? Where's that? Can you point me in the direction of this? Yep, no worries. He says, upstairs. And I go, what? Because we're on one floor. You go, me upstairs? And I'm like, no, you can't go upstairs. Like, everything's on, this one floor, He goes, no. Room. I go, no. We're a shop. And he goes, sleep. I'm like, oh, so you want to sleep upstairs in a room? Of which we don't possess, because we're not a hotel. Now I'm thinking, bless him. Maybe he's been kicked out, maybe it's, I don't know, whatever reason, he just needs to find a place to sleep for the night. So I say, I'm ever so sorry, we're not a hotel, we don't have a room. We're a shop. So we can't just let people stay in overnight, it gets locked up at the end of the day. So I was like, unfortunately, we don't have a room, I'm trying to communicate this to him. I was like, but there are plenty of hotels near this. Some just down the road, you follow a road and you'll get to a hotel. This, that, the other. Or, if needs be, I'm sure he can find a place to stay. Has he got anyone to ring, sort of thing? Now I'm thinking at this point, maybe, I don't know, maybe he's a homeless person, or, like I say, he just needs a place to stay. And I'm thinking, it must be horrible being in that situation, where you have to go into shops to explain that you need a place to stay for the night. So I was feeling a little bit, I don't know, I don't know how to describe it, but a bit upset for him, you know what I mean? Thinking, bless him, it's going to be tough, and unfortunately there's nothing I can do in terms of being in a shop. Then, and this is where things got even more a bit like, he pulled out his wallet and proceeded to show me a vast amount of cash. Like, a good, I'd say about 20 to 30 £20 notes, so do the maths. Which I was thinking, like, okay, so you can afford a hotel. Okay, that's fair enough. So, again, tried to direct him on his way. He wasn't having any of it. He was like, no, me need to stay upstairs. And I was like, no. We're not a hotel. We don't have rooms. So, walked into the front of the shop, said, go up there, keep walking, there's a hotel. And, yeah, you'll be able to stay there. And in the end, eventually, just got up and left. And then, no idea what happened to me after that, but that, for me, was a bit of a weird one, because, like, for a moment or two, I was feeling a little bit guilty, a bit like, I wish I could help him while I'm working. There was that element of, I could let him stay around my house. At the end of the day, I'm not going to do that. I was, 17 at the time? Didn't even have a house. So, I had to try my best to direct him in the best place possible, and then he pulled out this wad of cash, and I'm thinking, so, you can afford a place to live, you can, I don't know what his game plan was, but obviously he needed a place, so, tried to direct him in the best place possible. So, that was number two. Now the third one is kind of funny, but on my behalf, and it's more like a role reversal, like, it's not a weird thing that a customer said to me, it's a weird thing that I said to a customer. So, our policies at work are not to really banter with the customers too much, but, like I say, I can't find a way to just be a robot at work. I have to try and interact as much as I can with people, otherwise I'll go brain dead, okay? So this was during a learning curve where I didn't know where to really set myself, and actually that brings me on to another story that I want to tell today because it's kind of funny. But say like you're told not to banter with the customers too much, but after a year, this was only about a year later, I was learning to interact with the customers a bit more than just would you like this, yeah, that's that, done, transaction end, which most of the time that's what you do. But there's sometimes where, if the customer's nice and friendly, which it is quite rare, but when it is, you like to just have a conversation with them, have a laugh with them, make them feel happy, and hopefully they'll come back. So anyway, I'm at that time period where a year later I'm feeling comfortable enough to start, having these sort of conversations with customers, because it can feel a bit awkward at first, because you're not really sure how to act, because they're a stranger, but at the same time you're offering a service at the end of the day, So I'd noticed that people were coming in, and obviously it's very cold weather around winter time, and we have a heater on the front door, and so people will come in and their glasses steam up, because they've gone from a cold environment to a warm environment. Or your glasses steam up, you give them a wipe, or you wait a couple of seconds and they go, fair enough. I see that, and like a good 3 or 4 customers have come up to the till, like looking to find things, and said, oh, I can't see where I'm going, my glasses have steamed up. So I think, hey, that's a safe bet, isn't it? So lo and behold, gentleman sort of finds his way to the till. I've just served 1 or 2 people, and he says, excuse me, and I go, oh, if your glasses steamed up? He goes, no, I'm blind. I still remember this to this day, because it's like my heart was in my right foot at that point. I was like, oh shit, I can't believe I've just said that. Like, at the end of the day, it's not really offensive, but it's not something you bring up at the end, like at the same time. Okay, luckily this customer was nice and lovely, he was fine. And I said, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to offend you in any way, because at the end of the day, customers will do anything to report you. A lot of customers do a lot to report you, which, another story that I got reported. That's a fun one. Yeah, so he was like, don't worry about it, lad, don't worry about it, and then said to me, it's not like I can report you anyway, I can't see your name badge, so I don't know who you are. And I went, that's fair enough, okay, I'm so sorry about that, what is it you need? And then I helped him, and I must admit it was a lovely, lovely gentleman. So that was one where I thought, I've fucked up here, I'm just feeling comfortable, and I've fucked it, But since that, you get a lot more comfortable, you know what you can and can't say. Which, that's them 3 done now. These are just nice little anecdotes, little stories. I don't think there's anything like too long-winded, because you don't really have long-winded sort of conversations where I work. So reported, and so this one's a bit more recent. Happened, I want to say at some point this year, but it's been COVID, so it could have been like last year, and I just won't have known about it. But a lady comes in, and I know her son from somewhere, but I recognise her because I recognise her son. I've seen her with her son a lot. She comes in on her own anyway, and she always likes to laugh and joke with you and just speak to you a lot. You do find some customers come in, and most of the time they just want to chat to someone, because they'll go out shopping one day, they'll go to different shops, bump into a few people, and that'll be their day. That's how they get out. That's how they speak to people, feel happy, and then they'll go home and just enjoy their evening. So she's the type of customer who still comes into this day, and she's always in, and she's always chatting, and she's always lovely. And yes, sometimes it will do your head in because you might be trying to get a job done, but most of the time, lovely customer. And like I say, I'm happy enough now to have a laugh with the customers, have a giggle. But again, this was one of those where maybe I took it a bit too far, because I wasn't really reading into the situation well enough. It's always me. That's a joke at work. It's always me. Yep, it's always me. Blame me. Yep. So Now I thought, I'm quick thinking. I thought maybe you get one that shuts itself straight away. Do you know? Because when Jehovah's Witnesses come up to the door, they knock on the door, you open it, they say Jehovah's Witness, and you shut the door on them. That's like a running joke. So I thought if you get a card, they'll open it and it will shut. Funny, light-hearted humour. Nice little binge. Maybe she'll laugh. She looked me dead in the face because she didn't understand the joke, quite obviously. She was oblivious to the actual humour of it because she wasn't, in fact, looking for a sympathy card. Luke strikes again. Luckily, like I say, she's a nice customer. And she went, I don't get it. And I went, sorry, it was just a light-hearted joke. And I showed it to where she needed to be. So, fair enough. That's nice. That's okay. You can have pants with some customers. Some others you can't. Luckily, they don't all report you. So, that's that one done. Now, I've got 3 left, and I might actually end up telling you, so you might not get multiple episodes of these, unless I remember specific things that have happened, because you've got to think a lot of things have happened that aren't as memorable as some of these, but are still just as, funny anecdotes. So that's why I don't remember them. So, I'll talk about the time I got reported. Now, this one might be a little bit more long-winded, so you get a lot more whispering. So, let's set the scenes. So, just in case you don't know, there are members of staff. You have your manager, an assistant manager, them sort of things. And then you have above that like an area or a regional manager. For quite a lot of companies, they'll go around from shop to shop to make sure that the shops are looking nice and tidy, the manager's doing what they're supposed to do, that sort of thing. Okay, so if you are to be like reported or whatever, the HR will get the report, obviously, because they'll ring up and say, look, I want to report this person for this, this and this, I was in the shop at this time, fair enough. And don't get me wrong, some people in retail can be arseholes and should probably get reported for it. That's what it's there for. And so, I walk into work one morning, and my manager is on the phone to the area manager at the time. And usually when you get in, you say hello, blah blah blah, and he just sort of looked at me and went, come here. And I went, oh. I went, am I in trouble, as a joke? And he went, yes. And I went, oh. Okay, so he's on the phone, and I think the phone call ended at that point and said, I've got to tell you, you've been reported by someone. I went, for what? Because I'm never I'm not an arsehole. I'm a nice guy. In fact, sometimes I'm overly nice to horrible customers just because I can't be dealing with the aggro with them, if I'm being honest. I'd rather be over polite and make them feel stupid for being horrible in the first place, do you know what I mean? If they come in huffing and puffing and I'm actually really overly nice, they'll even go, why was I horrible? You know what I mean? That's just my mindset, so I try not to be too horrible. In fact, I don't think I've ever really been horrible. And so, yeah, I get told, you've been reported. I'm like, right, okay. So sort of sit there and chat for a little bit about, I can't remember what the reporting was. I don't think I was meant to know at that point anyway, so they were sort of like, skirting around the situation a little bit. And I was like, what? Like, I'm not like this, obviously. Everyone that I work with knows I'm not like this. The area manager knows I'm not like this. So they're like, that's why we thought we'd tell you, because it's highly unlikely that you've done anything. But obviously someone's reported you, so we have to follow, we have to tell you about it. I'm like, okay. So when was this? And I think in my head it was a Wednesday that they'd said it was. And I think it sticks in my head because I remember it. And I went, right, and I was racking my brain thinking, right, what was I doing on Wednesday? Who had I spoke to on this given Wednesday? And I went, was I in on Wednesday? To which we looked on the rotor. I wasn't even in on Wednesday. What the person had obviously done is found a receipt of some sort where it possibly said my name, because we used to have names on receipts, now we don't. Because of said reason, they'll just pick up a receipt and say, I was in here at this time, and this is my server, and I want to report him. That's why I don't think we have names on receipts anymore. And so someone had obviously picked up a receipt, it had said my name, and reported me. So obviously we rang back and said, I don't think I was even in. To which Dave said, can you confirm you weren't in? And we went, got the rotors in front of me. He wasn't rotored in, ergo he wasn't in. And they went, okay, then that's fine. So the one time I have been reported wasn't even real. And at this, like, to put it into perspective, you know, like I say, I'm a nice guy. I don't like being in trouble. I was never in trouble at school. It's just something, I'd rather just be nice at the end of the day. I don't know, maybe I'm too nice in some scenarios and not nice in some scenarios, I don't know. But, like I say, there's times where my heart sinks and I'm thinking, oh, what have I done? Like, have I said something just stupid and it's offended someone? So, obviously I'm thinking all that. And then at the end they're just like, you weren't even in, mate. And I'm like, what, some fucking load of bollocks in it? What's that? Oh, some people, like, customers wind me up. Like, some customers, not the majority of customers are normal. Like, there are the select few, as we like to say. You can be horrible, right? I've got 2 left. One of them puts me in a bad light. And one of them isn't even, yeah, so I'll start with this one. So I was chatting to another colleague, as you do, and we were talking about how, like we say, we have a lot of customers that come in a lot, so like weekly or, I don't know, once every couple of days, and then we got chatting about a few of them, and then we got a bit confused about who we were talking about and whether we'd recognise them. So then we said, oh, we should start giving like the regular customers like nicknames so we know who we're talking about, like nothing too bad. And then I started chatting about a customer that obviously had come in, and I don't think I've seen her in a while, if I'm being totally honest, but she winds me up a bit. And still to this day, it winds me up because it's not just me she winds up, and I think that's why I get wound up. It's like she'll annoy everyone else, but she comes in on, do you know, one of these sort of the scooters that you push, but it has like a basket on the front as well, and it's not like a Zimmer frame, but it's also like an almost a Zimmer frame. It's like an outdoor Zimmer frame. So she'll come in on one of those, and she'll push past everyone in the queue just to get towards the till. But then she'll sit and she'll look at everything on the till, like anything that's in a box or on the shelves in front of the till, and she'll just constantly wheel her way through and just look at all these things, like regardless of whether people are being stood there or not, she'll just push them out of the way. And I was trying to explain this, and obviously we were talking about giving them nicknames, and so she wound me up, and I think we come to the conclusion, I was like, oh, we should just call her Wheels. Anyway, I'm talking to my colleague at this point, and I was like, oh, maybe we should nickname that person Wheels. I turn around, and there's a young girl in a wheelchair with her mum pushing her. Now, talk about bad timing. I can honestly, and I'm not saying I wasn't talking about this person, I was talking about the person that, you know, she wheels away to the front and pushes past people and just scoots along a little bit, and I thought the best way was to call her Wheels because she's really annoying. And obviously said at the complete wrong moment, and I was like, oh no, here we go. This is when I'm going to get reported. This was years ago, by the way. This was like back at the start again. And this girl looks at me and I'm thinking, oh, I've really offended her. Oh my god, that was the complete wrong timing. And I was like, it wasn't even about her, but now if I say, oh, that wasn't about you, love, it looks even more suspicious and more ridiculous. And she looked at me and went, that is a wicked nickname. I'm going to call myself Wheels. And I was like, thank God she's also got a sense of humour, because I want to cry right now, and it's just all these bad teams. So, hence why now I'm very, very careful with what I say at work, and you know, you have to be anyway. You should be at the end of the day, but this was me being a naive teenager, so I felt awful for saying it, even though it wasn't about her, but it was still about a customer, you know what I mean? To a colleague, in which he was like, I can't believe you just said that, given, and I was like, but they laughed about it, it was funny. At the end of the day, I explained to them it wasn't about them anyway, and they were like, oh, okay, no worries. So again, luckily, they were fine. Now, last but not least, because it's my last story, and I think it'll be a good thing to end on, is I was in IKEA. Now, I've got my uniform on, it's blue. What do we know about IKEA? Orange and blue. So I'm with my mum. I actually think we were looking at beds and mattresses. No, I was looking at my desk. I was looking at this desk. Yeah, that's why I was there. We're looking at getting a desk. Okay, which is, I've got my desk now. And we've been going through, we'd looked at like the bedroom section because there's a few desks in there, and we're walking through. And obviously you have to walk around the whole of the maze just to get to another part. We're walking through this sofa bit. Anyway, now I have to deal with rude customers, okay? But the majority of the time, I'd like to say we're behind the till. And if we are out and about, not a lot really happens. In IKEA, it's quite open plan. There's not really anywhere to hide in IKEA. I mean, you can hide, but there'll still be people there, if you know what I mean. Anyway, this aggressive bloke walks straight up to me. Bearing in mind, I don't work at IKEA. Second of all, I'll say after, he grabs me by the arm, and I'm talking like death grip, right? And I'm looking at him going, I don't like being manhandled. I don't think anyone likes being manhandled when you're out and about. Okay? He grabs me by the arm and goes, I need you to tell me whether this comes in a 3-seater instead of just a 2-seater. Are you fucking blind, mate? I don't work here. Alright? I don't work here. I can't tell you, is what I think. I said to him, I don't work here. I don't know. What? And then he looks me dead in the eyes, and I'm thinking, he's clocked onto the fact I don't work here. And he goes, I said, does this come in a 3-seater? Brother, you dumb. I'm like, mate, I don't work here. I kid you not. He looked me up and down and says, so why are you wearing the uniform? Now, I don't know if you know anything about my uniform, which I'm wearing. I'm not going to show you just in case. It says where I'm working. Point number 2. I have told you I don't work here. I'm not just going to be an employee that wears a uniform and says I don't work there. You know what I mean? Anyway, I say, this is my work uniform for where I work, and I gave where I work and showed him. And he says, look mate, don't care where you work, does it come in a 3-seater? Bearing in mind, he's gripping my arm, and I'm like, this is physical assault at this point. I took him over, I showed him the label, and it says, it comes as a 2-seater and a 3-seater. So I thought, oh, bliss. I say, look, that comes in a 3-seater. He has the nerve to go, we got there in the end, didn't we? That's all I needed. You could have done that yourself, you dickhead. Who the fuck goes around IKEA and doesn't look at the labels? Oh. So yeah. So we laugh about it now, but my mum was just like, what the fuck's going on? It was hilarious. My mum still laughs. I laugh about it because it's fucking hilarious. But like, he was such a dickhead. Like, it makes me giggle because it's just so random. Like, yes, anyone that wears blue works at IKEA. That also allows you to then go and assault, like pretty much like death grip their arm until they give you what you want. Does this come in a 3-seater? I'm like, what the fuck? And then anyway, we went on about like 15-20 minutes. And I'm thinking, I can't believe this just happened. We're laughing about it at that point, going, that was bizarre. Some bloke comes up to me and says, excuse me, mate, do you work here? And I'm like, I said to him, no, I actually work at this place. I don't know, you guys know where I work, but I don't like saying it just in case. But I'm like, and he goes, oh, no worries, I thought you worked here. That's the appropriate response. So, lo and behold, I've never ever worn my uniform when I've gone to IKEA again. The only reason I was wearing it is because I had to go after work. Lo and behold, we got my desk. Oh, I was fucking livid. It was just the bollocks on this man to not only ask me and then on asking me after I've responded and told him I don't work there, to then look at me in my uniform, read it, and then carry on asking me. Brain cells, lads, brain cells. You need to grow them once in a while. Fuck me, right. I think that's going to end that there. If I do remember anything, I'll note them down over the next couple of days or weeks. And then tell him in another story. If you've liked this anyway. If you haven't, then just don't bother watching it. If you have liked it, please leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel.